Dear veterans, I was inspired to serve by my grandfather. He was a 1967 grad of the Naval Academy and was a Navy pilot. He flew A-7s. Unfortunately, he was missing in action in the Vietnam War, so I actually never met him, but his sacrifice is really what inspired me to serve. He inspired my mom to serve as well, and so I really look up to both of their service.
I'm inspired by my father, Command Master Chief Halsey. He commanded the Gulfport Seaview Base in Mississippi and has had several tours in the Middle East. He taught me to be thorough and passionate in all that I do, and I want to emulate him as a naval officer.
I was inspired to serve by the Marines that my dad served with. I grew up around them. I've seen the work that they've done and all the things that they've sacrificed for our country on a daily basis. And specifically the men of 2nd Battalion, 6th Marines who deployed to Marjah, Afghanistan in 2010. Sergeant Torres and Cody were both wounded in an IED blast, and Cody Childers carried Sergeant Torres to the medevac. Sergeant Torres ended up losing both of his legs, and when Cody was killed a month later in combat, Sergeant Torres dedicated his own life to giving back and doing all that he could to remember Cody, including climbing to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. And so those are the kind of people that inspire me, the people that are just endlessly giving back, and the veterans that have given so much to our country. And so when I'm here, I think of that, and I think of all the sacrifices that people have made so that I can be the best leader that I can be, because someday I might be leading men and women like Sergeant Torres and Cody.
I'm inspired to serve by my grandfather, Major William P. Hindelang Jr. He served in the United States Army in World War II. He and his men saw both victory and defeat. On the 29th of November of 1944, he and his men were captured by the Germans and taken prisoners of war. Just a short 2 months later, on the 23rd of January, he escaped and eventually made his way back to America. I remember looking back and reading his wartime log, and I read something in there that really resonated with me. He had made a promise to himself then that if he had made it out, he would go to church every day for an entire year. And he did fulfill that promise. Not only that, he was a second lieutenant at the time in World War II. But when he made it back, he eventually joined the reserves and retired as a major in the Army. So he was a man of faith, but he was also dedicated, and he displayed perseverance in everything that he did, whether it was with his service in the Army or for his family. That's absolutely something that I strive to emulate. Continually reflect on those things and think about how I can uphold his legacy in my future career as an officer for the men and women around me.
I was inspired to serve my country because of great individuals like you.
He was my personal friend and longtime mentor, Reese Tatum. Reese was a company commander in the Lima Company in 3-5 Vietnam.
Because of my dad, Chief Petty Officer Carlos. My dad enlisted in the Navy at 17. When he started training, he couldn't speak any English and left behind everything in the Philippines just for the opportunity to come here. Because of his sacrifices, I was given wonderful opportunities for my own life. And when I started training here at the Academy, there was no barrier to my success except for myself.
As a midshipman, I will honor your legacy by upholding the values instilled in me by my father and grandfather. I will ensure that your efforts, your time, and your sacrifices will not be in vain.
I will continue to honor your legacy, my grandfather's,
and the sacrifices made by 2nd Battalion, 6th Marines, by never forgetting your stories and continuing to emulate your service in all that I do.
And to every other veteran,
all who have been examples of service
and dedication to this country,
thank you for your service.
And thank you for your sacrifices.
We owe everything to you.
Happy Veterans Day.
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 Happy Veterans Day.